Hey guys, my name is Per Mars. I'm the founder and inventor of Marsblade and Flow Motion technology. And in this video, we're gonna talk about getting started using the i2 holders. And first step before you can get started skating is installation. And I'm gonna install them on these true custom skates. So first step, removing the holders. Clean boot. Let's get on the Marsblade i2s. Last check. Okay, great. So now we have the i2s mounted on these beautiful custom trues, and next step I want to look at sharpening, more specifically profiling and hollow sharpening. First, looking at the profiling, the question is, what is a profile? And the profile is the shape of the steel if you look at it from this side view. Our steel comes with an 11-foot single radius. There are a lot of different combinations of profiles, single radiuses, double, triple, quadruple, elliptical, and so on. If you have a specific profile that you're used to, my recommendation is always that you continue using that now with the i2s. The technology doesn't really change your preference, is at least my experience or my feel working with a lot of players. But if you don't have a specific one that you're used to, the 11-foot radius that comes with the steel is perfect to go with. Moving on to the hollow sharpening, we're gonna look at the steel from this view, and we have two edges, one on the inside and one on the outside, and in between we have what's called a hollow. Deeper hollow give you better bite, while a more shallow hollow give you better glide. And adding the technology will give you more steel on the ice at all times. So one thing a lot of players and coaches feel when we're adding the technology in the holders is that they get a lot better grip and bite to the ice, and sometimes even too much bite. And that's because the technology keeps the steel on the ice longer. So if that's something that you feel as well, what I really recommend you to do is to go for a more shallow hollow than before. And as we touched upon before, a more shallow hollow will give you better glide, and you're going to use less energy, still maintaining great grip. So a great way to get started and getting a feel for the technology is doing some inside and outside edge half circles like this. This will really help you to get a feel for how much more steel you have on the ice, because the weight is automatically shifting back towards the heel. So some inside edges and now some outside edges like this. So another great area where you can explore the technology and get a feel for how much more you can trust the edges is in turns. So I want to go through some things here. So if you look more closely at the execution of the turn, you want to have a strong position with a good strong forward lean, knees over the toes, and keeping the steel flat on the ice on this inside leg. A lot of players are struggling with putting too much pressure on the heel. The upper body comes up, so you're losing your balance and losing your strong position. putting too much heel pressure, spraying snow, so you don't have that clean cut through the turn. So you're losing a lot of speed. So this is an area where the holders will help you a lot to have a strong position, steel flat on the ice, and maintain a lot of speed through the turn. So if we now look at just skating straight forward, you will feel that the technology will help you to keep the steel flat on the ice through a larger range through the stride. So starting here in the load phase and then pushing through at the end of the stride. So a great way here to really get a feel for it is to exaggerate the length of the strides. And even if it's not how you're normally skating, again, just to get a feel for that more steel on the ice and really pushing through. So if you start backing up here and really feel how much longer you can push through. And the same goes, of course, for backward skating. So if we do some backwards sculling here, really feel how much longer you can keep the steel and push through. So another area where you'll really feel that you can trust the edges again a lot more than with your traditional holders is in crossovers. So I want to do some of that here. So if we start just building up some speed, especially that inner leg, the outside edge, you can really challenge how far out you can push through the stride and building speed, which is an area that, again, you see a lot of players struggling with, not being able to push through, to maintain speed and build up speed through their crossover. So yeah, really challenge yourself to go fast and go tight in the circle. Ooh. Yeah, you're gonna be surprised. Switching steels quickly has become a natural and a super important part of players' game today. And if you don't have the luxury of an equipment manager doing it for you, I wanted to go through here how quick and easy you can do it yourself. So just pop this hatch, take the steel out. You got the brand new steel in the Mars Blade steel case. Pop it in, lock it, and you're ready to go. Hey, give me the puck! With the I2s and flow motion technology, you have the ability to adjust the amount of rocker movement, which is, of course, something new to you. But this is super important because it makes a huge difference for the feel on the ice. We got the 26 foot, which provides the least amount of rocker, then going down to 23, 20, 17, which is the ones I'm using, and then 14, which provides the most amount of rocker. And this is a common question we get. Which one should I use, and is there certain benefits for certain players using more rocker or less rocker? And my answer is that it's all about personal preference. If you can handle more rocker with the 20, 17 or even 14, it's going to give you a lot of benefits, but if you go down too far, it's going to be, you have to be able to handle it. So my recommendation is always to gradually go down slowly. 23 foot, which is the pre-mounted one, is a perfect start because for most they feel that there is something happening, but it's not like, oh, this is too much. So I recommend you to start it with 23 and then go for 26 if it's too much, or go down for more if you want. To this, I can also say that, like looking at some of the NHL guys, I know they use different inserts depending on the hardness of the ice. So that's a factor as well. If the ice is harder, then they can go for a bit more rocker, but if it's softer and they feel they dig in a bit more, then they want to use a bit less. So that's an interesting factor to consider as well. So, but most important is to really try them out, because I've heard some players and coaches that only try the 23 and then, oh, I'm happy with this, and they haven't tried more, and then I push them to, you have to try the other ones. Then they try them and they love even more rocker. So try them all is my recommendation. Let's go ahead and switch the inserts so you see how easy it is to do it. Just popping the steel out, using the hook here at the end, taking it out, my favorite 17, back in the end. I'm feeling it today, so I'm gonna go for the 14. Popping that in and back with the steel, lock it in, and you're good to go. So yeah, as you saw, it's, I don't know, 10 seconds or something. Super easy for you to do, even on the bench. So now we've gone through some things regarding getting started, testing the i2s, switching inserts and switching steel. One thing I also want to comment and mention is regarding the transition time, since you and maybe you, most hockey players are pretty afraid of switching into new things because it can feel really different and weird sometimes. But with i2s, I would say that pretty much all players and coaches are really pleasantly surprised of how quickly they adapt to the technology, and that the transition is super smooth and easy. So I just want to push on that. So all you players out there and coaches that haven't taken the step yet to try them out, don't hesitate. We've had a number of pro players switch even mid-season, and I've heard transition time from a couple of strides even, or a couple of minutes or in that range, up to a couple of sessions on the ice. So yeah, transition time is nothing to be scared of. That's it for this video. As always, if you have any questions, comment here below, shoot us any questions or thoughts you might have, and I'll see you soon.